Okay. I don't know really why I'm recording this. It's like 4:47 in the morning. I just finished watching IEM Melbourne semifinals, so I have nothing else better to do right now. So I figured I throw this together. Um, this is a little tier list that I put together. This should be all the participants of the Blast Austin Major, and I am going to rank on this tier list. Um, how much like what the like if each team were to win the major, like what would it be like? How would the reaction be basically? At the top we got cinema, we got hype for second, nice for third. This shit ass. Just because it's kind of like, you know, it, it's like it kind of sucks. And then we got boring, which is like just like the worst because it's not like you have it's kind of like you could already you could already see it on the wall, but it's just like it's just such a letdown. And then I don't really care is really just like the epitome. Like I really do not care, you know, if you win the major or not. Like I just don't care. Starting off, we got 3D Max. Quite frankly, I don't know. I think this shit kind of ass. If they win, I mean, good. We see like a full French roster again. They take it. Would it be deserving? Not really. I mean, considering the level of 3D Max, I mean, first of all, you're losing to Faze. You're getting dominated by Faze. If you're getting blown out 13-0 by Faze, right now while they're like in a slump, you're not in like a qualifiable state to be kind of winning. Not to say that they can't, but I have very low expectations for them as a team. So like it would be very, very surprising if they win. I mean, I guess I'd feel emotional because it'd be like, okay, why are they winning? Like that's so unbelievable that they won. But yeah, kind of sucks basically. I think this should be boring. This should be boring if they win the major. It'd be kind of like, I don't know, you give it just to like a random stack, and they win. And yeah, I think I would put Aurora. Look, this might be a bit of an over. This might be a little bit of like kind of overcompensating. I would put them at hype. I don't want to get killed by any Turkish people, but I do think like, which is not the reason why I'm ranking them so high. But it's more so I think that like there is a kind of like a nice storyline set up. Obviously you do have like the powerhouses Zentaras and Woxic kind of on the team, and you got like Major and you know all the other people. You got all those guys. They're winning their major. It'd be very impressive. I mean, they haven't really been strong lately, but you know, a lot of people have been saying like they've made a lot of they've been working really hard in order to kind of make a lot of like playoffs. Basically, we haven't really seen them in like the past month or so in any tournament right now, but they've been kind of making like pretty large efforts. So it would be pretty hype. I would say there'd be some like hype going around that. Two very impressive players in both Woxic and Zentaras finally winning a major. So, and it would be, I think, like they could perform if they perform like a high quality level, it would be very entertaining to see them win. Do I think it's gonna be very? I mean, would I want them to win? I mean, not necessarily, but I think it'd be. I don't think like it's necessarily well deserved, but it would be nice. I guess it'd be okay. It'd be fine. B8. I'm gonna put B8 at nice because I think like it's just kind of this is literally their first major that they finally qualified for. They've been doing okay, but I would say results have been underwhelming. I don't really have too many high hopes, but then again, they did destroy Astralis, so it would be, I guess it would be a nice storyline to see like the people who knocked out one of the longest like reigning like championship organizations and Astralis gets knocked out by B8 only for them to win the major would be kind of nice. I don't really think that they have necessarily the star quality in order to do so, but you know, it'd be impressive. I think it'd be a nice underdog win. BetBoom, I'm gonna be honest, I don't really care. I don't really care if they win. I guess I do root for Boomich to kind of have like a nice upstart, kind of revival into his career. and obviously you had that with Cloud9. They were, I don't know, they're Cloud9. And there was also, I mean, right now this is kind of a second resurgence. It's kind of very much like kind of low expectations from this roster in terms of making it through. You got Siren doing it like the snus baby rage or whatever. I don't know. I don't really care if they win or not. I'm very indifferent if they win. I wouldn't think that I think it'd be very undeserved basically. But I mean, yeah, somehow they won. I just wouldn't care. I guess I honestly don't really care about BetBoom. I mean, also plus fucking BetBoom, like we want it to be announced like BetBoom won the major. Like, nah, that shit ass. That shit ass. Bestia. I'm gonna also say probably put an X alongside B8, so double Bs, in terms of nice, because I believe they are fully Argentinian, if I remember. Yeah, they're predominantly Argentinian, so I think that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, nice little national roster making it through. I mean, I don't really mind too much. I guess I'm a bit indifferent, but I guess it would be cool to see underrepresented nation win a major like that. Very impressive. Do I think that they can do it? Very far from it. I mean, I might just release another video like afterwards or so, kind of giving my personal thoughts about like who is likely to win or whatnot. But yeah, it would be nice. It would be nice if they won. Complexity. Let's just go right here. Absolute cinema. If the Americans won the American major, like, you can't get any better than that. We already saw it with Cloud9 Boston 2018. Why can't they do it again? After we finally get a major back in NA. So I think it'd be really cool. Complexity have been on an upward trajectory where there's actually they're actually tracking to perform better and better throughout like each tournament. So I think they could actually have a chance to make a really good run. And I think they could also just like really cash in on just like fan service basically. They could have 6C drinking 5 beers before the playoffs or whatever. That could be fun. I think it'd just be absolute cinema if Complexity, Jason Lake finally gets his major, which would be would it be expected? I mean, far from it, but I think if they make playoffs, they could be a dark horse, but it also really depends on the rest of the tournament though. But I think they could have a good chance. I think they can make a deep run into the tournament. And so that's kind of why I would also say that, they actually have a solid chance of making it through. Chinggis Warriors. Kind of hype, I guess. I'm going to be hype. I'm going to be honest. Kind of hype. If they win, if they make it, and they somehow win the whole thing, it would be very impressive because then they would have been their own national team, the Mongolz somehow. They would have overcome the Mongolz somehow and made it all the way through just to, this kind of no one really knows what's going on. I mean, obviously people know about other Mongolian teams. We know about the Huns, obviously they have their impressive run at Pro League. And then they also had, we also talk about Atox, which got removed. But I think it would be very impressive for Chinggis Warriors to somehow make it through and to win the trophy. That'd be very impressive, very hype. At least the Asians are winning, so you can't get mad at that. You can't get mad at the Asians winning. So yeah. Falcons. Falcons is such a hard spot. Falcons is such a hard spot because it's Falcons, right? Why would you want to support the Saudi Arabians? But I mean, they got Nico and Mondesi, which is kind of the whole thing as to why you would even want to root for this team in the first place. I don't know if Kyosuke is getting on the team or not beforehand. I think maybe afterwards, after the major. But regardless, I mean, I would say it's very hype to see the team building up to actually be contenders. I guess tomorrow technically. I'm not sure when this video will come out, but tomorrow by the time you'll see Falcons versus Vitality. It will be whether or not to see like they can actually contend with like the best team right now. So it's really hard to say. If Falcons win the major, it would be I'm gonna put them in this shit ass, to be honest. If they win the major, this shit kind of ass. I'm gonna say just because it is Falcons, it is just because it is like, Saudi money. I don't know. I can't really put it any higher than that, to be honest. Good for them if they win. Nico, Modesty, they finally get their major. Magus adds another one to his trophy case. Zonix sure beats the Fraud Watch. Kicks in. I like kicks in, so I think I would be supportive of that. And Tessa's as well. Be nice for him to win. After getting robbed after robbing himself in Rio. But yeah, I would just say it's literally just organization difference. Organization difference is kind of making this shit ass. Faze, without a doubt, cinema. I don't really have to say much, to be honest. I am a Faze fan all the way through. So there's a lot of bias going into this. They are looking like dog shit, quite frankly, though. Like, their performances have not been up to any, like, substantial par whatsoever. So it would be very surprising to see them even make playoffs in the first place, quite honestly. Not to say that they can't. I definitely believe they could, but it would also, with the rate that they're going at the moment, it seems very unlikely. But it is Kerrigan after all. It is Kerrigan, and that is why you put the trust. And somehow, if FaZe come back into playoffs and win their American major that they've always been destined to be, absolute cinema. Brokey beating the Fraud Watch allegations. Elige winning the major on home turf, basically. And it would just be absolute cinema. Okay? Everyone would be redeemed. It would just be amazing. And, it's just pure Counter-Strike. FaZe is as pure as you can get with Counter-Strike. It is just pure, and it is just magical watching them play. Fluxo, I don't really care. I don't really care about Fluxo, I guess. They've had some good runs. They've done all right, I suppose. It would be very surprising to see them make a deep run. I'm very skeptical. I mean, I think Brazilian CS is in a very bad state, as I'm about to kind of talk about later on into the video once I get into more teams. But right now, it is rough. If they somehow make it through playoffs, somehow get on top, I'd feel very indifferent. I would just be like, okay, sure. It would just, yeah, I don't know what to say. FlyQuest. I mean, I guess, I don't know. Nice, I guess. It'd be nice to see FlyQuest win, I suppose. Somehow the Australians pull their shit together. Carried by Brigali on op, their European import. I don't know. This shit kind of ass. If they somehow make it through, this shit kind of ass. If they somehow make it through playoffs and then they win the whole thing, that shit kind of ass. Like, what is everyone doing at that point? They've played okay, but I wouldn't say they're any like trophy contenders whatsoever. But it would be okay if, I guess, they won, I suppose. But it also sucked, though. I mean, I think it would be good because they have good branding. It is a North American organization, so it'd be perfect for them to win. But other than that, though, I don't know. I think it would... Like, what are they doing at that point? What are you doing? What is it all the other teams doing at that point to lose the FlyQuest, basically? That's the way I see it. I won't say that they're going to go 0-3, but because I think there are a lot of other teams that are better lined up to go 0-3. But that is for another video, so we'll save that for next time. Furia, this shit is also ass. If Furia, I don't even know what to say with Furia. Furia, Brazilian CS is in such a dog shit state right now. Like, yeah, I mean, you could literally see the Furia roster moves as well. They got Yakindar. They replaced Skulls with Yakindar, and I'm not really... I guess Skulls was okay-ish or so. I'm a little bit let down by his performance on Team Liquid, but he was doing great on Furia. and so they replace him with Yekindar, which is so bizarre. Which is because it's fun. It's also very funny because they played together on the same roster, and yet Yekindar is coming in to Furia of all places to replace him, and then they also are replacing Cello with Molodoy, and then he's supposed to be opping, but then they're transitioning to an international roster. And so how's K-Serrato feeling about this? Like, you know, he's been like, oh, I want to win for my Brazilian brothers, and I want to play with them all. Well, guess what? Half your team now is not even Brazilian at that point. So what's even the matter? This shit kind of ass. If Furia win, everyone is on fraud watch. If Furia win, somehow they are on fraud watch. If they make playoffs, everyone is on fraud watch. So yeah, G2, this shit also. No, this shit ass. G2 have somehow farmed their way to have like the worst kind of. They have depicted themselves to become like the worst hated organization somehow in CS. Speedrun, matter of fact. You know, I think Pekka is not beating the Nepo allegations. Taz is not beating the Nepo allegations. G2 management is not beating the Nepo allegations. Stacks is not beating the Nepo allegations. And Hades is Hades. I mean, I guess Hades is okay. But, like, I don't know. I feel so bad for, like, MOUZ, Heavy God, Hunter. They're on that roster. You know, all their stars imploded. Modesty left for Nico, who was also there. And so, you know, Hunter's without his cousin. MOUZ is without, like, his powerful offer to really like make impact. And so, I mean, I guess it would be nice to see them win or so, but like it would also just be mega ass because they're just like oh my god, they just on paper they suck. They just suck as an organization. On paper their roster should not be that impactful. I'm actually not rating them to go really that far. It's kind of hard to gauge. But I guess we'll see in some of these upcoming tournaments before the major or so. Yeah, I don't know. I am very skeptical. It would be fucking terrible to see them make it through or to win the trophy. It'd be so bad. Good for the player, for some of the players, but like it would be the worst CS possible. It'd just be absolutely dog shit CS. Okay, Heroic. I mean, Heroic, Heroic's been doing a pretty good job. I think Saw's been doing a really good job of managing them, and their roster, I mean, is is okay, underwhelming. I mean, I'm a little bit indifferent though to say like if they won. I'm not completely indifferent, but I think it would be kind of hype. Saw alongside Ash are one of the two coaches that kind of is making these rosters work with such like low spending, basically. And it's very impressive, like what they've been able to kind of do on Heroic in terms of like actually making functional rosters. So I guess it would be okay. It would be nice to see the players on Heroic win. They'd very much be underdogs throughout the entire tournament. I don't really have much else to say other than that though. So yeah. FlyQuest, I don't really care, quite frankly. I'm gonna put them alongside Fluxo. Mini, rest of Imperial, whatever. I mean, I think, like I said earlier, Brazilian CS is in a bad state right now. I'd think very indifferently if they somehow made playoffs and won the whole thing. I just call it a fluke major at that point. So yeah, I don't know. It's just they don't. I don't think they deserve to necessarily win. They're very far from it. And the Brazilian CS needs to have like another whole like roster shuffle in order to, you know, do something. So yeah. Lynn Vision. I'll say hype. It'd be very hype to see Lynn Vision make it through. They did miss out on the Shanghai Major themselves, but ironically they did beat Rare, or I guess necessarily it was Tyloo, but Lynn Vision had a very clean run through the major qualifier, able to qualify through the top spot in the Chinese or through the Chinese qualifier. My bad. They got Call Me Sue, who is like, I mean, he's basically NA. He's kind of like an NA import into China, but he's actually Chinese. So he's like one of my cousins out there. But like it'd be kind of hype to see a Chinese major win the whole thing in America. Maybe lost some aura because it's no longer Shanghai. But it'd be cool. It'd be great. It'd be awesome to see like a full Chinese roster win, and to get their backs and to get carried on the back of Call Me Sue as well, and also to kind of see like some of the people on that roster like kind of win, just because it's not a lot of seasoned names basically. So yeah, also does suck that Rear Adam missed out, but we can only hope for more Chinese slots in the major eventually. M80, I'm gonna have to put them down a peg, but under complexity, I think they have the same arguments to make for for making a decent run. But at the same time though, I don't think because this is their first major, they could definitely beat a lot of these teams, I think. But at the same time though, I don't think that they're necessarily strong enough to necessarily make it to the top. It'd be very great to see them though make it to playoffs and to win the whole thing. It'd be great. It'd be cool. Maybe less emphasis because they are like less of an American-based organization. So yeah, it would just kind of, I think it would kind of just be a little bit underwhelming other than that though. But I mean, they are predominantly American, so I think that does check out. And gotta rep my boy Michael Swisher. I think they could. It would be awesome to see M80 to make it to the playoff stage and to win the whole thing, but it would be also be very far fetched. So yeah. Metizport. I'm actually gonna put them in different. I don't really care if Metizport make it or not. I mean, I guess they're okay. I feel like Metizport as a organization and I guess their roster has been like very underwhelming. After kind of losing like crucial pieces. So obviously they lost Tyloo to Heroic, who was not even on the roster in the first place. And then they also, Fizzy and Adam are both split up as well because Fizzy is on Wildcard. So I mean, they're making it by. I don't really see a deep run from them. If they somehow make it to playoffs and win the whole thing, cool, I guess. I don't really care, quite frankly. I mean, it is like a national team, but it'd also just be kind of out of nowhere. So I don't know. I think it'd just kind of be like an upset, basically. It'd be just like such like a throwaway upset. MIBR, kind of same thing. Maybe even worse, a worser extent. Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. I think, I'm a little bit indifferent if MIBR make it through. Because, I mean, the Insanis are going around clicking heads. He's kind of just farming everybody right now. So, I mean, that's very impressive. Hardcore carry would be deserving if he somehow carries them through the playoffs and then wins the major off of that. Yeah, but it's Brazilian CS, and I mean, Brazilian CS, like I said, have been in a pretty shitty spot for the most part lately. So, yeah. Mongolz. If Mongolz win, absolute cinema. I mean, would it be deserving? Not from what we've seen so far, just because they've not really been able to consistently beat teams that were within the top 5. But it would be awesome to see them just suddenly get over all their fears and to just take names there. All the Mongolz players, they are aura farming consistently 24/7. So, it'd be awesome to finally make their dues and to win the major. Somehow it'd be very impressive if they did. I think it'd be very hyped though, because they've been I would say the most reasonable top 10 underdog lately that you could just kind of get behind, because it is from a very underrepresented nation, which has only been prevalent because of the Mongols, basically, Mongolia and Asia, and they're actually kind of making a lot of they're making quite a bit of a run. So yeah, I think it'd be awesome to see them make it through. MOUZ Sports. This is gonna be the first boring because I think it'd be fucking boring if MOUZ won, quite frankly. Um, they kicked Shuey, who's now on Team Liquid. But like they've been winning a lot. They just lost today though, against Falcons, which is surprising because they've been on like a grand final streak. But MOUZ winning would be so boring, I think, quite honestly. I don't know. I feel like very little of the players have enough aura to necessarily justify like a win for them, in honesty. I mean, I guess there's the Jimpat and Gunnar arc, and there's always Torzi. You can't go wrong with Torzi. But like, I don't know. I think it would just be very boring if MOUZ won, because I don't know. It feels like such a cop out for the way that they've been winning. I guess Brolin's been doing a decent job IGLing, I suppose, if they're winning as much. But like, I don't know. It kind of just seems like they're running around just killing people and kind of underperforming against like Vitality. So yeah. Navi. Let's see. I'm gonna also just low-key put them in boring. I mean, Navi have been in a pretty shit like position lately. And it would feel very underdeserving if they somehow made it to playoffs. I don't think they're gonna make it to playoffs, quite honestly. Because they've just like looked so they've just looked so weak. You watch Navi, they're making it through, they're winning some games, and then they're like losing them too. How do you lose the Team Liquid? You literally were leading 11-1, and then you lost the map, and then you proceeded to lose the third map as well. Like, that shit is just like mega embarrassing. Your mental's like out of the game, and your guys are just like not hitting any shots. And I don't need to go further. They got Wonderful. You know, I can imagine it's hard to be a Navi fan, but I mean, they did get their major already, so at least they won in the first place. But I think at this point, just like, you gotta start changing your pieces around. I think it would suck if they somehow made playoffs and they won the whole thing. I just don't think it's deserved. They're just in such a shit position right now that they need to work. They need to find something. Nemiga, I'm gonna be honest, this shit would be ass. No one has heard from Nemiga in a while. Like, you never see them at like any tournaments. Let's pull this up. Right, they have all these players. I feel like this is all their first time at the major too. Yeah, let's look at their results. Okay, Gala Compass, qualifiers, CCT. They've been positioned at 8th place in their CCTs. I mean, that's better results than Ants, I suppose, which is just kind of mad embarrassing. But they've just been going to CCTs and qualifiers. That's all they did for the last year, basically. And then 2024 as well. Like, they didn't even make they got beat out by BetBoom in the Shanghai RMR. So it's like, I don't know what these guys are doing. They're losing to fucking Metizport, OG, BetBoom, Pain. You're losing to Pain. Going down 17-19. Yeah, I mean, it would just like, if they somehow made it to playoffs and they won the whole thing, that shit would be mega ass. Like what are you doing at that point? What are you doing? Yeah, I don't know. I would not be supportive of that. NRG, but the R is only there. I might have to put them a rank down. NRG have looked like they've been grinding pretty hard in like the NA circuit so far. So it's been nice to see them improve like gradually. And I mean, they did have a very rough showing at Pro League. I think they just like bombed out immediately and they just got like smurfed on. But like, I would like to. I think I can imagine them taking like at least. They're not going to go 0-3, I think, because I feel like they're much stronger than a lot of these other weaker teams. Or maybe I'm just like making coping because I'm North American or I'm from the US. But yeah, it would be a nice storyline. I think it would be great. You get to watch, kind of Nitro finally winning his major. George as like young gun kind of coming into this roster, kind of winning like his first major. Hex has played a major before, but he can aura farm and then he can just like BM the fuck out of people in playoffs. So I think that shit would be mega fun. OC as well, some slight redemption. I mean, OC's been playing okay, but also I guess generally underwhelming or so. And then, I mean, what can you say about Bro? Bro has been like the best. I feel like Bro has been the best like European import to like fully mesh himself into North American culture. I don't know. I might take that back because like Halzer would like drop some slurs last time during this last tournament in Melbourne. So I mean, it's kind of like, you know, I would say it'd be nice to see NRG win if they somehow do. Would it be very deserving? Not really, but I think it would be nice to somehow see them win because it is a North American organization and roster. So yeah. OG, you know, I'm actually kind of hyped. I'm gonna put them under nice though, but like I think if OG actually somehow made it to playoffs and then won the major, I think that'd be awesome. I'm just gonna say hype. I'm gonna say hype. Maybe not cinema. I put them at hype. Yeah. I mean, very very hard stretch. I mean, I think generally they are like the definition of like tier 2, tier 3. They've not really achieved much outside of qualifying for the major, I think, in a while. But at the same time, though, they have Nico Das, and I think Nico Das Ara forms on Twitter so much. So, you know, you gotta give him kudos for that. I think Prison as well has been doing like a pretty good job of like IGLing after coming off from like MOUZ Academy too. So, you know, I think it would be very impressive to make them see a deep run from like a young IGL and just like make it through into, you know, playoffs and to win the whole thing. I would probably put Pain closer to nice, but at the moment, because we don't know who their fifth is, it's like I feel like you can't properly judge because it's just like you don't know who they're gonna pick up. Are they actually gonna play the major with their coach? Like, who knows? Which would kind of be terrible in my opinion. If they win somehow, I don't think they're gonna make playoffs. I mean, Pain were coming out strong, looking to be like a nice contending team, but like they're kind of in the middle of like roster moves, and it's like really hard to say like where they are as a team. So I can't really gauge them properly. So yeah, but like I guess it'd be okay if they won the major. I don't really care. I'd be very surprised if they did. But you know, and I guess it'd be nice because, you know, Big Zero has been putting in his reps basically, and like raising young talents. No, but I don't know. I'd put Team Spirit and Boring as well. I'm going out on a limb here. I mean, Team Spirit, I feel like there have been other clearer contenders, obviously, in terms of who's more likely going to win the major. I mean, I guess it'd be cool. It'd be cool to kind of, you know, see Team Spirit kind of return to form and just like smash everybody, Donk just like killing everyone. There's a reason why he did win like all those awards, and you know, he came out as like #1 player HLTV. But like, which is really good for like a, you know, like a debut basically. But that being said though, you know, Spirit just won the last major. And they've been getting their asses kicked by Vitality for the most part. So I mean, it's just kind of like it's kind of hard to say. They also don't really have like they haven't really been at many tournaments or so, but I guess the low key been hiding strats. But yeah, they've already won. You know, why need to win again? And I mean, I guess you can make the same argument for like Faze, but like Faze haven't won in a while and they've been really close, and then it's just also Faze. Faze are just like, they always aura farm and they will always have fans, no matter what. This is probably the most fans that like Spirit fans have ever had. I know, you know, Zontix with his Snow Bunny mind control over like all like Chinese women basically. We got a lot of those in America, maybe not in like Austin, Texas, but we got a lot of Chinese people. I'm Chinese, so yeah, but I'm not fawning over Zontix, so that is why I would say it would be boring if they won the major. Team Liquid, kind of a hard part. I would say it's nice though. Actually, no, I'm gonna say it's hype because, you know, you have Shui coming in on such a short notice. And I mean, they already made playoffs of IEM Melbourne at their second tournament. Obviously, the first one they literally brought him in days before, and they got blown out in groups. But like here, if they were to somehow turn it around and make playoffs of the major and to win the whole thing, like that'd be so impressive. It would really go to show. It really would push the narrative that Shui is basically like the next Hurricane, basically. And you know, him getting kicked from MOUZ was just like something was going on. No one really knows the whole semantics. I guess they didn't necessarily like his IG lane or something like that. But I think it'd be absolutely crazy to see Team Liquid kind of like win. And you know, Naf gets his major finally, Twist gets his second major. So yeah, it'd be cool. And I think Team Liquid as an NA org, you can't go wrong with that as well. Zeus would probably be Fumi to shit though. Or I don't know, posting about something on Twitter. Who knows? Tyloo. If Tyloo were to win the major, okay, you know what? I'm sorry. I gotta just put them in cinema. You know, you got G Aura. You got G Aura. Like, how can you go wrong with G Aura? G is just like the most like magnificent player to grace like the earth so far, and he is. I feel like over literally just one tournament has Aura farmed and has literally brought like a collective group of like Chinese fans with him into the front mainstay. And I think Tyloo actually have, I mean, first of all, this is like Tyloo's first major in like years, but they've slowly been improving and they made a really good run in ESL Pro League. I'm hoping that they make the same type of run again. I don't know if they'll make it to playoffs or not. If they somehow make it to playoffs, impressive. If they fucking win the whole thing, amazing. That'd just be like absolute cinema. Just like these Chinese guys, right? Finally, after getting like getting the region carried by the Mongolz, right? They just come in, swoop the major, and just like take the W. That'd be like insane. It'd seemingly be impossible, but like I don't know. Tyloo somehow know how to work Inferno really well. So, you know, it'd be very, very interesting. I think it'd be absolutely cinema if they won. Really, it'd be seriously cinema. Vitality. I'm gonna put this is not in any order in particular, but I'm gonna put this here specifically because of Vitality. I made this category specifically for Vitality, matter of fact. Boring as fuck if they win. Okay, I love the players. Let's go off of each one. I think Apex is funny as shit. You know, he is just constantly BMing people, but he's also been like doing a really good job as an IGL, and I think that's really impressive. Flames, how can you like hate Flames? Like, he's just like such a lovable guy. He's like very sweet, very funny. Rops, you know, Rops is literally the GOAT. He is just like he is too good for his own good, quite frankly. So he needs to be stopped. He's just way too fucking good. And you got Mezzy as well, you know, British guy, very cherry. He's a dad, just like putting in the shots, he's doing everything. And then Zywoo, right? I mean, the undisputed kind of like, I feel like at this point, he pretty much is like the GOAT until Simple makes his comeback later this year or next year. You know, he is undisputed GOAT at the moment right now. He is literally taking heads, he is taking names, and they are looking so fucking strong, right? He is just doing so good, and that's why I hate them. This is just like a repeat. This feels like a repeat of like Astralis again. Like, I don't want another Astralis era. I want like another Faze type era. Okay, where like, you know, everything is kind of close, but you know, you do have like these impressive wins and the games are hype. I don't want them to just dominate everyone. They just look too fucking good, and it's not fun to watch. It's not fun to watch a really good team because it's like, okay, it's literally Coffee Baby versus Hydrogen Bomb. Why would you want to watch that at all? It's just you're just decimating people. I literally just came back after watching Vitality destroy Mongolz, and they only picked up 7 rounds in 2 maps. And that shit, it wasn't fun at all. Like, imagine going to a tournament, you go there, you watch the whole thing, and then like everyone, they're already done. You barely even gotta watch anything. It's just like they're in and out. It just kind of sucks. It sucks. It would suck if Vitality win. I mean, I think they're well deserving of winning, but at the same time, fucking suck. It'd be just terrible because it's just like, why even? Why are we even watching Counter-Strike anymore at this point? It's just not fun. Why are we still watching Counter-Strike if Vitality win? Basically. So that's why we are praying on people to upset, and that's why it's going to be absolutely cinema when they do. So yeah, that's all I'm saying. VP, this shit ass. I am not like the big, I think Electronic is like one of the biggest frauds. Uh, I don't think like, he is a good IGL. I think he has ruined more teams than actually done good for them, quite frankly, especially when he is taking over IGLing duties. You saw this especially with like Navi, and obviously he made the move to C9, but then I think he eventually took over his duties in C9, and that shit went ass. And then now he's doing it in Virtus Pro. And I mean, they made some impressive wins, and so, but like at the same time, it's VP. They're not the same organization anymore. I don't know. I mean, they got some nice players you like on there. Icy's been doing okay, I guess. Flamus, you can't hate Flamus after Gamer Legion, but like, it's just, Electronic does not deserve to make it to the playoffs. I think. I feel like he could somehow bullshit his way into the playoffs. I don't think he's well deserving of it, quite frankly, though. Because I think he's like fraudulent as an IGL. Just stick to fragging, dude. Quite honestly, I'm saying this as like a viewer, just like stick to fragging. So it'd be make an ass if he like won, and yeah, I just would not. I hope I'm not. I don't think I'm the only one who feels this way, but Electronic has not been paying his dues, and it is just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say about VP. VP are just like, they're just that team. Yeah. And last but not least, we are on Wildcard. I'm gonna probably also, I guess it would also be nice as well. I'm gonna say nice. It is a, North American org. If they win, Amaranth's gonna go up on stage and, make a big speech. I'm just joking. But like, I think they've made some pretty good, impressive runs. Obviously they had that tournament against BetBoom where they just got fucking decimated. So God forbid we actually see a performance like that from them. We're not really going to be too sure which wildcard we'll see, but hopefully it will actually be a warmed up wildcard. So that will be something to look forward to. They're very not likely going to make playoffs, but like, I think it would be nice to see. Obviously they have the Swedish combo on their team. They got Stanislaw. It would be awesome, I guess, to finally see him win a major, I guess. North America represent Jaba, Jaba. He's just been like popping heads. He's kind of like modern day Obo, I guess, in some ways. And they've been doing pretty good. Like, I think for like a mix, they've been doing pretty good. Obviously there's that little controversy whether or not they were like trying to game the system to, are they even necessarily an American team? But I would say they are as American as much as we are, and they are as American as Team Liquid is. Basically both are pretty much on fraud watch in some ways, but I feel like you can't necessarily get too mad at that. It's just, don't hate the player, just hate the game. But yeah, I mean, they just, I don't necessarily blame them. I did want them to make it through, and I think they were, I think they were going to be a strong contender to qualify nonetheless. So yeah, I think it's good to see. But yeah, okay. Actually, yeah. So I reordered everything, and I also changed the position of boring to I don't really care. Yeah, I think, I mean, not to say that the boring teams don't necessarily deserve the major win, but it would just suck if they do, because they already have like either won it or they just like make the Counter-Strike viewing experience like really boring just because of how good they are. So yeah, Cinema would just be absolutely like amazing games to watch from them in terms of like rooting for them, and also just to see them, if they were to somehow win the whole thing, that'd be like so impressive. Can't go wrong with like Mongolz and Tyloo, but Complexity would definitely be at the top of like Cinema in terms of like having upward trajectory of actually winning, and then also like making a deep run. Faze as well, finally getting their shit together. Elige winning his major, can't go wrong with that. Hype, you gotta put the North American team, you gotta put the NA teams there first, so like MAD Team Liquid would probably be on the top. And then I probably say the Asian teams, and then you followed up by like the Eternal Fire or Aurora, just because it would be kind of nice to see them win and to kind of be deserving of it, and making like a decently deep run or so. But yeah, nice. It would be nice to see like Energy and Wildcard be at the top of that. Also North American teams somehow winning. Bestia because, you know, regional like similarity, B8 because they're very much underdogs, and OG and Heroic, I did have to move OG. I mean, I knocked OG down quite a bit, but like I think it's mostly because, you know, OG's closer to just being kind of like a Euro mix stack. But like you know, it'd still be nice to see them win basically. And same with like Heroic too. I think maybe actually no, I'd probably rate Saw kind of like showing his like prowess as like an IGL, or not IGL, as like a coach, like really going to, you know, make stable rosters basically. This shit ass. I'm just gonna put I put Falcons at the top because, you know, I think obviously it kind of would suck. I think they're very much deserving if so, and I think that's the thing that I hate is that they're like, I wouldn't say it's necessarily boring to see them win, but it would be terrible if they did win though, just because it is like Falcons. 3D Max because they're French. Furia because they're just kind of doing whatever, but that still does not, like, I think like my hate for Furia is like less now because I hate VP. I think VP are frauds. Nemiga not really doing much. Actually, no, I'm gonna put FlyQuest over Nemiga. I think FlyQuest, you know, they're not real. They're making by, I suppose. They were close to making playoffs in Melbourne, but whatever. Will they make a deep run? I mean, I guess it'd be cool but it kind of be terrible. Like if they're winning, that'd be like why? And then G2, don't even get me started on G2. Like worst organization right now. Worst organization of all time. Why can you support G2, basically? Except the players. You support the player. You can support the players. You can't support the org right now. MIBR. You know, I rate that just Insani difference, basically. BetBoom. Boomwitch difference, I guess. Siren, Nus, you know, Baby Rage. Metizport. Suppose it'd be nice to see them win. Pain, doing okay, but it's unsure because they don't have their 5th yet. Fluxo and Imperial as well are kind of like in the same category as Pain, basically. And then Boring, obviously, Vitality are looking to be the ones that this is looking to be their year in the first place, and their whole tournament. They have literally gone on like an unstoppable streak. I'm really hoping that we do see someone contest that. I am low-key praying for Falcons to beat Vitality tomorrow. Which is kind of like unironically like the worst thing that I possibly could have like been wishing to happen, but that is low-key what I'm like I want in the back of my head. MOUZ because they kind of make CS look boring, and also just because they're running around killing everybody. Navi because I don't think they're really well deserving, and they just like that roster looks like it's about to implode at any moment now. And Team Spirit just because they already just won the last major, but you know, Donkora, Zontic's Chinese woman, Snow Bunny, you know, mind control. So yeah, I think this will be my tier list for now in terms of rating the most how cinema would it be to kind of win the major, or if any of these teams won the major though. So yeah, thank you for watching. I have my socials down below, so please do check that out. I will probably try to make more of these videos or so. I do have to kind of balance it in between college and whatnot, but hopefully I could edit this together. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. I've also probably tired myself out by now, like because I've been talking about this for like nearly an hour or so. So I think this is like probably a good place to stop as well. So yeah, thank you for watching, and yeah, hopefully you stay around for more. Thanks.